Trust is the cornerstone of effective leadership. Yet, many leaders underestimate its importance. Did you know that 82% of employees don't trust their boss? This shocking statistic comes from a survey by Harvard Business Review. Lack of trust can lead to low morale, poor performance, and high turnover rates. On the flip side, leaders who build trust see 50% higher employee productivity and 76% more engagement. In this video, we'll dive into 6 powerful strategies to build trust as a leader. You'll learn why showing vulnerability is a strength, how active listening can transform your team, and the secrets of empowering without micromanaging. We'll also explore the magic of consistency, creating a feedback-friendly culture, and celebrating wins and learning from losses together. Ready to transform your leadership? Let's get started. Do these 6 things to build trust as a leader, or regret it later. Your team's success and your leadership reputation depend on it. Chapter 1. Show authentic vulnerability. Ever felt like you have to be perfect to lead? Think again. Showing authentic vulnerability is one of the most powerful ways to build trust as a leader. Brené Brown, a research professor, says, "Vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change." When you share your personal stories of struggles and failures, it creates a strong emotional connection with your team. Imagine you're working on a big project and things aren't going as planned. Instead of pretending everything is fine, admit it. Say something like, "I underestimated the challenges of this project, but I'm committed to finding a solution." This honesty shows your team that you're human and not infallible. Research shows that leaders who show vulnerability are perceived as more approachable. According to a 2017 study by Harvard Business School, leaders who display vulnerability can foster stronger team collaboration. This is because it encourages others to open up and share their own ideas and concerns without fear of judgment. But remember, there's a balance. Authentic vulnerability isn't about oversharing. It's about being real and selective with what you share. It's okay to talk about a past failure, but avoid unloading all your current worries on your team. The key is to be relatable yet maintain your role as a leader. For instance, if you made a mistake in a decision, acknowledge it openly. "I realized my approach wasn't the best, and I've learned from it," you could say. This transparency helps your team see that it's okay to make mistakes and learn from them. It builds a culture of continuous improvement and trust. Additionally, showing vulnerability can lead to more innovation. When your team sees that you're not afraid to take risks and fail, they'll be more willing to step out of their comfort zones too. It creates a safe space for creativity to flourish. Chapter 2. Master the art of active listening. Listening isn't just hearing words, it's a superpower in disguise. Active listening is one of the most underrated skills in leadership. It's about fully engaging with your team's words and emotions. Research from the International Journal of Listening shows that active listening can increase trust and reduce misunderstandings. Start by giving your full attention. In today's digital age, distractions are everywhere. Put your phone away and make eye contact. Show your team that they have your undivided attention. This simple act can make a world of difference. Acknowledge feelings and respond thoughtfully. When someone shares an idea or concern, don't just nod and move on. Reflect on what they've said by paraphrasing it. For example, "So what you're saying is that the new process is slowing down productivity." This shows that you're really listening and not just hearing. Empathy is a crucial part of active listening. Stephen Covey, in his book The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, said, "Most people do not listen with the intent to understand, they listen with the intent to reply." Break this habit. Instead, listen to understand first. Empathize with their perspective before jumping to conclusions. Avoid interrupting. It's tempting to jump in with solutions, but resist the urge. Let your team members finish their thoughts. This shows respect and gives them the space to express themselves fully. It also ensures that you've gathered all the information before responding. Creating a feedback-friendly environment is also part of active listening. Encourage your team to share their ideas and concerns regularly. Show appreciation for their input, and act on their suggestions when possible. This will make them feel valued and more likely to trust you. In a study by Gallup, teams with high levels of active listening reported 27% more profitability and 50% higher employee engagement. This is because active listening fosters a sense of belonging and trust. When your team feels heard, they're more likely to be motivated and productive. Chapter 3. Empower with trust, not micromanagement. Want to lose your team's trust fast? Micromanage them. Trusting your team's abilities is crucial for building a strong and effective work environment. Delegating tasks and giving autonomy shows that you believe in their skills. This approach not only boosts their confidence but also fosters a sense of ownership and responsibility. Begin by setting clear expectations. When your team knows what's expected, they're more likely to meet or exceed those expectations. Provide the necessary resources and support, then step back. This doesn't mean abandoning them but rather being available for guidance without hovering over every detail. According to a study by the University of Minnesota, employees who feel trusted by their leaders are 32% more likely to be engaged in their work. This engagement translates to higher productivity and job satisfaction. It's a win-win situation for both the leader and the team. Encourage decision-making. Allow your team to make decisions within their scope of work. This empowerment shows that you trust their judgment. When they make mistakes, use it as a learning opportunity rather than a reason to revert to micromanagement. Mistakes are a part of growth and innovation. Simon Sinek, in his book Leaders Eat Last, says, "Great leaders are willing to sacrifice their own personal interests for the good of the team." This means giving up control and trusting your team to perform. It builds a culture of mutual respect and trust. Another strategy is to celebrate successes and recognize contributions. Publicly acknowledge when your team members achieve their goals. This not only boosts morale but also reinforces their trust in your leadership. People love to be recognized for their hard work and dedication. Also, be transparent about your expectations and the reasons behind them. When your team understands the bigger picture, they're more likely to be motivated and align their efforts with the organization's goals. Transparency builds trust because it removes ambiguity and hidden agendas. In a survey by Harvard Business Review, 58% of people said they trust strangers more than their own boss. This startling statistic underscores the importance of building trust within your team. Empowerment is a key strategy in reversing this trend. Lastly, provide constructive feedback regularly. Focus on the behavior, not the person. This approach helps in improving performance without damaging self-esteem. When your feedback is seen as helpful and growth-oriented, it fosters trust and a desire to improve. Chapter 4. Consistency is key. Walk the talk. Say one thing but do another? Trust will fly out the window. Consistency in your actions and words is crucial for building and maintaining trust. It means being reliable and predictable in your behavior, which creates a stable environment for your team. Start by keeping your promises. If you say you'll do something, make sure you follow through. Broken promises erode trust quickly. According to a study by the American Psychological Association, consistency is one of the top traits employees look for in their leaders. It provides a sense of security and predictability. Your actions should align with your words. If you preach punctuality, be on time. If you emphasize the importance of quality, ensure your work reflects that standard. This alignment shows your team that you're not just talking the talk but also walking the walk. Consistency also means being fair and impartial. Treat all team members equally and apply rules and policies uniformly. Favoritism or double standards can quickly destroy trust. A study by the Society for Human Resource Management found that fairness and consistency are critical for maintaining employee trust and morale. Effective communication plays a big role in consistency. Be clear and transparent in your communication. Regular updates and honest feedback help in setting and managing expectations. When your team knows what to expect from you, it builds a strong foundation of trust. In his book The Speed of Trust, Stephen M. R. Covey states, "When trust is high, communication is easy, instant, and effective." This is because consistency in actions and words eliminates confusion and builds a reliable communication channel. Hold yourself accountable. Admit when you're wrong and take responsibility for your actions. This accountability demonstrates integrity and earns respect from your team. It shows that you're not above the rules and are committed to the same standards as everyone else. Consistency isn't just about big actions, it's also about the little things. Showing up for meetings, responding to emails promptly, and being approachable all contribute to a consistent leadership style. These small acts accumulate over time, reinforcing your reliability. In a report by Gallup, Teams with consistent leaders are 29% more likely to be engaged. This engagement translates to better performance and higher job satisfaction. Consistency creates a stable environment where employees can thrive and trust their leaders. Chapter 5. Foster a safe environment for feedback. Afraid of feedback? It's time to flip the script. Creating a safe environment for feedback is essential for building trust. It shows your team that their opinions matter and that you're open to hearing them. Start by encouraging open dialogue. Let your team know that feedback is not just allowed but welcomed. A great strategy is to ask for feedback regularly. Make it a habit to check in with your team and ask for their thoughts on projects and processes. For example, you could say, "I'd love to hear your thoughts on how we can improve our meetings." This shows that you value their input and are committed to continuous improvement. In her book Radical Candor, Kim Scott emphasizes the importance of creating a culture where people feel comfortable giving and receiving feedback. She says, "Radical candor is guidance and feedback that's kind and clear, specific and sincere." This balance helps in maintaining a positive and productive work environment. Be approachable and open-minded. When someone gives you feedback, listen without getting defensive. Show appreciation for their honesty and take their suggestions seriously. This openness encourages more feedback in the future, fostering a culture of trust and collaboration. Another strategy is to act on the feedback you receive. When your team sees that you're making changes based on their input, it reinforces their trust in you. It shows that you're not just listening but also taking action to improve. In a study by the Center for Creative Leadership, leaders who sought feedback were rated as more effective by their peers and subordinates. This effectiveness comes from the trust and respect gained through a feedback-friendly environment. Create anonymous feedback channels if needed. Sometimes people are hesitant to give direct feedback. Anonymous surveys or suggestion boxes can help gather honest opinions without fear of retaliation. Ensure that you address the feedback and communicate any changes made based on it. Encourage peer-to-peer feedback as well. This helps in building a team culture where everyone feels responsible for each other's growth and success. Peer feedback can often be more specific and immediate, leading to faster improvements. Lastly, provide training on how to give and receive feedback effectively. Not everyone knows how to give constructive feedback. Training can help your team learn the best practices, making the feedback process smoother and more productive. Chapter 6. Celebrate wins and learn from losses together. Success isn't a solo journey, neither is failure. Celebrating wins and learning from losses together is crucial for building trust. It shows your team that you're in it together, through thick and thin. Start by celebrating achievements, no matter how small. Acknowledge the hard work and dedication that went into a project's success. Publicly recognize individual and team accomplishments. This boosts morale and reinforces positive behavior. A simple, "Great job on the project, team," can go a long way. Recognition makes people feel valued and appreciated, enhancing their trust in your leadership. In his book The Culture Code, Daniel Coyle emphasizes the importance of celebrating small wins. He says, "Small wins create momentum, they make big goals seem more achievable." Celebrating small victories helps in maintaining motivation and building a positive team culture. Equally important is learning from failures. When things don't go as planned, gather your team and discuss what went wrong. Approach it as a learning opportunity rather than a blame game. Ask questions like, "What can we do differently next time?" This fosters a growth mindset and shows that you're committed to continuous improvement. Research by Harvard Business Review shows that teams that regularly review their failures and successes are more likely to improve performance. This reflection helps in identifying patterns and making necessary adjustments. It also builds a culture of transparency and trust. Create a safe space for discussing failures. Let your team know that it's okay to make mistakes and that you're more interested in learning from them than assigning blame. This openness encourages risk-taking and innovation, as people aren't afraid of the consequences of failure. Celebrate learning as much as success. When your team learns something new from a failure, acknowledge it. Say something like, "I appreciate how we handled this setback and learned from it." This reinforces the idea that learning is a valuable outcome. Incorporate team-building activities to celebrate wins and reflect on losses. Activities like group discussions, workshops, or even casual get-togethers can help in building a stronger, more cohesive team. These activities provide a platform for open communication and shared experiences.